This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
Halfway through the week, we're going to take care of you. Halfway through the show, we're ready to go. A Gallup poll has says that we as Americans are just stressed out. Give you some stats here. A 10-year high, 55% of adults report frequent stress, 35% globally, so 55 here in the United States. And 45% felt significant worry compared to 39% worldwide. So here in the United States, we're just stressed and worried. So there's this Savannah Collective, basically this group of people is like, all right, how can we change this? And so they went up to New York City and they installed literally punching bags all around the city. And it says like streets punching bag.
Okay.
And you're supposed to and they want you to just let out your anger when you're walking by. If you're just mad, just start punching these little bags that they have put up to poles and stuff, which might be a good idea. Maybe you keep on hearing all these people like Bethany Frankel and Steve Buscemi getting just punched in the face.
Out
these
of
ladies.
nowhere. Yeah.
Maybe that's where it's possibly coming from. Could be a good solution to it. I see nothing but in this litigious society that we live in, lawsuits. Somebody, I punched it and I broke my hand or whatever.
Oh,
but
yes.
think about that.
Yes.
That would be the only bad thing. But I think, it's also a reminder that say, hey, you know what? Let your aggression out on something inanimate rather than a real person.
I know we oftentimes bring things back to cell phone use and our complete obsession with being on these things 24/7. Does that lead to the frustration? Does that lead to the anxiety, the anger?
I would say yes,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why, without going too scientific, is the fact that that is always there, so it's a relief. So when you don't have it there, or you don't have that constant engagement and stuff, anxiety kind of builds up. I would imagine that contributes to it.
What about on those bags when people start stabbing them? That's when
that's probably the next
personal, and they just start making stabby stabs or shooting him.
Yeah.
I see that as the next. Maybe they should put blood packets in there.
Something. Give it a more authentic. Because in New York, they had to tell people to stop shooting the cyber trucks because people were walking by and shooting them. So they had to tell them to stop doing that. So
It's like that movie Idiocracy. I feel like it's coming true.
More than you realize.
Say that, but it's like every day we get closer and closer to that.
Well, a little side note on that. Crocs.
Yes.
They were no one knew anything about them. They put them on there like, what would dumb people wear in the future? And they put them in that movie, and that's how their popularity began.
You are
My hand to the
kidding me.
heavens. Google it.
Are you serious?
Because they all wore Crocs in the movie. So check that out.
The Denver Police Department has launched a new program that will include the use of drones as a tool to help officers respond to 911 calls. The police force in the Mile High City recently saw their funding cut by millions. The department was defunded to pay for the thousands of illegal immigrants who were sent to the state. Now the department is struggling to keep up with demand and will rely on a $100,000 grant from a local police foundation to start a drone program. So in the event that a drone is sent to a 911 call, the device will be able to determine how serious the situation is and if officers need to respond.
I think it's a great idea. It also gives eyes and ears to police officers before they get there. Say, hey, we're saying a large crowd here, looks like 15 people, yada, yada. And when the police officer arrives there, they can even say, hey, look, the guy in the yellow seems to be hurt or might be the one perpetrating everything.
Yeah.
So I could see it being a great tool. This is actually where drones are actually a great thing, right?
They are, but I think we're seeing a trend now across the country, and especially in cities like Denver and Chicago, where if someone calls 911, there's no one that's able to be dispatched to take care of them in the event of an emergency.
It's actually a really good point. I'm glad you said, because we're trying to think like, is it a Band-Aid to the problem? Or you're actually fixing the problem? It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they need funding for that sort of thing.
And they use drones here in Florida. They can be extremely effective. So I think if it's an added tool to your program, great. But if you're relying on that to respond to 911 calls,
that's one of the fastest things I ever saw is snapped up on Shark Tank was this woman who was putting together. No, this was 5 years ago.
Sure.
A company where she was going to go around in municipalities and teach them how to use their drones for fires, for police departments, for serving. Mark Cuban's like, buying it. I'll buy the whole company right now. Let me buy it, because he saw the value in that coming up.
It makes sense. And, it's not going to be very much longer till robots are the first responders. I'm just telling you that.
Those robot dogs freak me out.
You got dogs with flame throwers, man.
They do. They literally do. You're right. We're going on the scene with Doreen. She's talking to a former American Idoler.